Okay, so these things, you, you know, that's why I hate this reels, because they have been putting some nasty things. Now, this is not the worst. They've done this with much younger kids, but you see this reel, you don't know what it is. You see right next to it, like soccer players, performers of all sorts. And so you see that, you see this girl is like, okay, I don't know. To me, when I see her, it's like, that's maybe college, like if, this is like super sexualized. So this person is most likely, college or something like that. I'm not sure, And I'm like, from the back, from, and the fact that she's walking like that, I'm like, they wouldn't like let an actual kid do this, right? They won't let this happen. Like, so let me just see. I mean, I don't think that Instagram will let kids do this like to that level. Like, yes, you can dance a little bit, but she's literally walking in a way and it's supposed to be like sexual and whatnot. So I look at the picture and I'm like, at first looking at her, I was like, I can't tell exactly. She can go either way. Either she's like finishing up high school, or she's like early college. Then they turn the camera around and then I see the others. Those look like kids. Look like more like kids, teenage kids and college kids. They look more like high schoolers. The other one, you see her from the back, she's walking away and you can, it's kind of. So I'm like, no, these people, I don't know. If you look at this, the kids behind are looking there, they look like high school kids for sure. But the one walking is kind of hard to tell. So I go in through the comments because I'm like, let me double check because they like to mess with me. And the crazy part is like they mess with me for not recognizing it immediately. So I'm starting looking at the comments, and I'm going through the comments, and I see that this is actually there's other people. Like if you see this person's like up in what he says here. Let me just read his message. He says, up, yeah, boys, up and further review. This video was from her junior or senior high school year. Yeah, I'm out. So I'm like, okay. So for me, it's like this. They put these videos. I don't know if it's them, but I don't know why it will come up with me. So immediately you see what I do, because I know they can control the things I see. And it's not going to be always easy for me to figure out who I'm looking at. Right? Especially when it's somebody who walks from, like you see her from the back. She's walking away. So I'm supposed to guess from the back. She looks like she's like, like this is just too much. So I'm like, I don't know who she is. I have no idea how old she is. From the back, she's either late teen, early adulthood. Well, for sure she was like, I think she's like a senior or something like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what they made me look at her. Now I don't know if she's 18 or not, but I know she's in high school for sure. But that's why this thing is in my feed. And just like this guy, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so nasty. Like, let me get this nasty thing out of my screen. Now, people start making noise, but you see high school you want. It's like, they do this to actual babies. This person is actually would take a few, like just like this guy say, you have to look into see how old is she for me to even guess her age. When you see her like actual picture, like you see her like Instagram picture, you're like, okay, she's a kid. You can see she's like high schoolish, finishing high school, something like that. But this is the kind of stuff that come up to me, and then I'm supposed to be like, oh, you see. But nope, nobody can guess right. You have to look at the video. Matter of fact, the reason why I start being like I was a little nervous about this thing is when I saw the friends, because they look like really kids. Because they're just there, you see their face. Well, this girl is just walking from the back, and you can just barely see her face walking away. And then when you see the pictures, like, okay, she's obviously like a high schooler, finishing high school, early college, a kid. And now they just make me. And if they can do that to, you know, to a baby, like a late teen, early adulthood, it's gonna be easy. But that's what they do, and it's nasty. But that's what I have to deal with now. But at the end of the day, I know reality. For anybody to just tell, just based on seeing that, to guess their ages, it's not gonna be easy. And you see that people responding in certain ways, like, oh, okay, I'll open further review. She's a kid. I gotta get out of here. But I think the reason why they put these videos there for me is so they can start creating these battles in my head. What do you mean? You put these things there, thinking that just so I can be confused and figure out later on, oh my gosh, it's a kid. That's why they put this there. Just like them, I'm supposed to look into, okay, where, like, what sign should, because this is one of those that you don't know if she's like late teen or early adulthood. And they're like, you see, we proved it. We did that. He's like, what the fuck? Yes, this was just there. Look at my reel. I see all of them. And then the reason why I look at this one specifically, because out of those threes, she was the one that I wasn't sure how old she was. I was like, I don't know. That can go either way. Because the other one, obviously, she's an adult. The other one's an adult. It's like, okay, that person, I don't know. They like to do this thing where they put reels of like people who are either kids or can be kids. And every time that happens, I look into that. I was like, okay, why? Are they messing with me? Let me see. And yes, this was actually a kid. Now, I don't know if it's an actual like underage kid or but in high school. So for me, that's the shit that I deal with. And then try to make you feel guilty. It's like, you see, that's proof. No, you put this thing there. Or something created this thing like that. And it's not the first. This is not the worst. They've done it to like little Indian. I had to like stop. I had to like completely like create like no, not interested, please, uncomfortable, because they were doing like kids, like really young kids, early teen. And then sometimes they would try to mess with me. No, she kind of looked like that because, you know, Indians look a little different sometimes. It's like, no, this is a kid. Looking at this like a 14-year-old kid. They do these nasty things just for that. In my brain, they try to create these battles. Like, but the reason why this is there is for that. It's because they want to mess with me. This is the things they force me to experience. Now, I'm not going to say that I would guess immediately if it was me. Of course, I would not. But I wouldn't care about it. I'll just, okay, whatever. And if I see, okay, that's why, never mind. It's just a kid. But they do this on purpose to mess with me. And then to prove that they have, you know, they see that's proof. In my head, you know what they try to do? If you're normal and it's like, no, if I was normal, I would look at it, it's like, okay, I don't know, where is she? Okay, oh, she's a kid, never mind. But in my brain now, they try to be like, yeah, you see, you're pedo. No, trash, you want me to be pedo. This is what you do to try to make yourself feel good about yourself. People even there don't even know who it is until they go into to see who it is. In my brain, they're creating battles like, no, but if you know, I will not. And if I open and see, let's just say I didn't know. Let's just say I didn't know this person was not an adult. I look, find out she's an adult. I was like, okay, it's over. This is a kid. Never mind. There'll be that real quick. But the reality is these people are so desperate that they're even creating things like that to validate themselves. They trick themselves this way. They trick themselves literally in fashions like that. But I make videos to put things back in perspective. In my brain right now, they're making me imagine something like that happening before August 19, 2019. Truly making me imagine that. Who? And they really, because, you know, I've seen on Instagram some college students So fitness models who's in their early 20s or and so like you try to make me imagine, oh, but what about if, no, this is what you guys are doing to me. You're looking for ways to make yourself validated. You're creating your own validation. You're falsifying reality to the point of this. These people are low-life bottom feeders who are pedophiles. They put these things on my phone like that. They are making me seeing this so they can create the storylines. You see how random it is? Out of all of them. And they're like, no, we're going to frame me. Yes, of course you're going to frame me. Look at what you try to do. These people are so pathetic. They work for entities where pedophilia is such an issue that they are being ranked as top-tier child porn distributors, sharers. And me, they have to manipulate things around to create these things. That's why I make these videos. Targeting videos, they're going to try to present a reality that is so falsified. The alter reality is so falsified that they even put these things randomly like that to trade these things. And in my brain, they're like, oh, but if you saw somebody like that, it's like, but if I didn't know she was an adult, if I thought she was an adult, and I look at thinking that she's an adult, then realize, oh, she's not an adult, I'll be like, oh my gosh, she's not an adult, never mind. Just like these people. But they're purposely putting kids there. So I can look at a kid and they can do their things. And this is easy because it will take a minute for two to kind of figure out this is not an adult. And be like, you see, bastard. What? They out of touch with reality. No, sorry. They want me to be out of touch with reality. But they're purposely putting kids who are not, people who are not adults. But who can be fooled to be adult if you don't know. And then be like, oh, bastard. It's like, you're so pathetic. You know you can't even speak about an actual pedophile that picked up kids, and you are here putting people who, from far, you barely can see, you can see, you don't know if they're actually adult or not. While working for entities that are being ranked for top child porn. And you can't even say a name of a pedophile that picked up kids. I'm just so thankful I didn't have to live this retardation. The reason why I'm showing those comments is to show how obvious it is. Guessing people's age, especially somebody who's walking away like that, you're like, okay, from the back, from there, you could almost pass for an adult. But what really makes that less obvious, make it seem like maybe she's not an adult, is the people behind her. Because they look like kids, which they tried to make me look at one of these kids in the section. I was like, oh my gosh. And you hear this trash who sold their soul to pedophiles and now are creating things like that, situation like that, to prove themselves a fantasy that is falsified. I make videos about that immediately. You see my reel. This is the things they control. Whatever is there, I'm always nervous. It's like, what are they going to put there? What's next? What's next? What are they going to put there? And then you hear this trash like, we knew. It's like, you knew that you work for pedophiles, okay? You knew that for a long time. You know that you guys have actually the pedos sharing child porn, and now you're putting this reel of kids. But those are kids that it's hard to tell they're kids. They could pass for some like young adults. And for me, my brain, what they're doing now is like making me think, because I'm not perfect. I've looked at some fitness models. I've looked at Instagram, curvaceous women. I've looked at some athletes with curves, of course. But they're adults. You just try to make me think like they're kids. That's why I was shocked that this is a kid. Why would they even have a kid there? Because these people are putting these things there to try to make me believe this fantasy they've put together. And they're like, we dare. No, you guys are pedophiles. Remember this. Target individuals, listen to reality. Well, they manipulate these things for me to try to subscribe to this stuff.
Children Child Online Protective Services. The Defense Department network consistently ranks in the top tier of internet service providers for trafficking child pornography. It ranked 19th of nearly 3,000 networks surveyed in 2018. Meadows said the legislation could close security gaps in the Department of Defense. At the Department of Defense's network and Pentagon-issued computers may be used to view, create, or circulate such horrifying images is a shameful disgrace, and one we must fight head-on, Spanberger said in a statement. According to child pornography watchdog Internet Crimes Against Children Child Online Protective Services, the Defense Department network consistently ranks in the top tier of internet service providers for trafficking child pornography.
CIA raping children and sexually assaulting children, and they're not being prosecuted? Where are you? Oh, that's the thing.
Why are so many
Right.
pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind?
Somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, this disgusting thing. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people.
Malodorants. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my...
They love to use children for the torture and stalking, street theater etc. Especially teenagers for the stalking at close range with an attitude. They are using them during my sleep in the perversion program, and so you can imagine what the slaves of torture are pretending to do to me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals.
And so you hear this. It's obvious that they do these pedophilia things, but the obvious part is like they have pedophilia issues. While I was recording this, they were trying to like create these battles in my brain, like try to normalize it. No, it's okay, like, man, sometimes they're like, no, you're making me think this way. I'll think she's a kid, that's it, just high school kid, whatever. Easy. But today I understand things have changed. You do that to even babies. 2 seconds ago was like an actual little girl, like tiny, not maybe 10 years old max. So her, at this point, maybe adulthood, but in this probably like close to adulthood. That's the worst. And they tried, and when I confirmed that she was a high school in this thing, this picture of her now, and she shows, her back end, whatever. It's like, listen, you can do that to babies, okay? I can see her being like a high school, like this like kids in her, like still she's maybe an adult in this picture, but still you can see her not childlike, but you see something childlike in her. And I understand that at this point, if they can do that to an infant, babies, little girls, little tiny babies, they can do that to like young adult at this point, or even almost young adults looking almost like an adult. So this nasty things I deal with. I will never normalize the way they make me look at things. I know in my brain, if I saw her as okay, she's not okay, whatever, I would be able to just like, it would just almost like block out. It would just be okay. But today is different. My brain can just be manipulated in ways that just like give me an intense feeling of some sort, or like a sensation, or like just a perceptions that's just different. But they did this to a 10-year-old not too long ago. To a little girl. There was this video of this girl dancing. Great little, like dancing. like professional choreographer dancing. That's the kind of content I love to watch. It's super wholesome, but at the same time, it makes you want to dance. She's a kid, like an obvious baby. They will try to make me look at her in this sexual way. So you can imagine this person. So to me, it's just like, okay, be strong, understand that this is the things they do, and they're gonna try to make you accept these things. You heard that there's issues with these entities that are working to make you see children these nasty ways, and then try to make you accept these things. I'm not perfect. If I see like I've seen a young adult woman with curves, and of course, I'm not like any other man. But I'm being forced to see certain things the way I wouldn't look at it if I was me. Now, I'm not saying that I will guess immediately her age, but first of all, they give me a little extra. But once I will figure out, oh my gosh, this is never mind. Okay, move on. Just some kids, high school kids, whatever. It will just go away in the sense that I will not even. I will dismiss that immediately. But today I don't have that. My brain is not mine. They control how I react and how I feel. And so now I have to deal with this. But to all my target individuals, see how obvious. Look how obvious things are done. All this real or rel, whatever, this comes up. It didn't happen just by chance. I've been like purposely like pressing the no interest to stop whatever algorithm they can create. But it's not gonna happen. They're gonna make me see whatever they want. They control what I see, and they're trying to make me subscribe to these things. Matter of fact, right now they make me imagine this happening before. I don't know with who. Because what they've done before, what I've done before is I've looked at some athletes, some young adult athletes who was curvaceous. Of course, I'm not a saint. I've looked at some Instagram model that's curvaceous. I've looked at some fitness model, a lot of fitness model. And so they try to morph this into this and create their reality. Now, I'm never going to subscribe to that. I know who I am. And I know this trash. I've really have a real problem with pedophilia. And it's been shown for decades. Being ranked top tier in regard of child porn, being navigating in regard of child porn being distributed within the networking of Department of Defense. How obvious, how pedophilia centric can you be? Do you want to hear the bill there was a bill, S1413. That bill was specifically used, or not even used, but they were trying to use this bill or create a bill that will stop these pedophilia issues going in these agencies. And me, this is the things I have to deal with. And I hear purpose. Oh my gosh, I did this. Look. Oh, do you think this is random? So to all my target individual, stay strong.